Season 2 patch notes are here, and boy, there's a lot to go over beyond just the content that we've been discussing here for a while, so we're gonna dive right into it. In a bit of an oddity, I kind of want to detail the future plans here for Modern Warfare 2, because to conclude the patch notes today, they gave us a preview of what's to come down the line for Season 2 Reloaded, Season 3, and beyond. And I think it's important to note and be aware of what the entire road has ahead, so let's start there. Season 2 Reloaded upcoming, that is something we'll see a new 6v6 map with a preview of it that they gave, a new raid episode, more multiplayer modes, and as listed, more beyond that. We don't know exactly what that will be, perhaps another weapon, but that part is pure speculation. I do like the look of the new map that they previewed, however. It reminded me initially of Bailout from Modern Warfare 2, but from all the language, it's a new multiplayer map, and that wouldn't be the case if it was Bailout, plus perhaps it's optimism, but the likely centralized portion of the map they detailed here, that's not how Bailout was back in the day, but a new map upcoming, and finally a new map at that with Season 2 Reloaded. Looking forward to that. Now, beyond, Gunfight and Plunder will be returning with Season 3, new maps for Gunfight, Plunder finally coming to Warzone 2.0. That's something that we were told is Season 3 for a target here at that, and it was mentioned that Warzone Ranked would be confirmed to be coming as well. But one important distinction here is that that segment was Season 3 and beyond. In a call we had with developers last week here, Ranked play was mentioned, but it was not given that target time frame of Season 3. They just said it was coming. The target time frames for Plunder and Gunfight were Season 3. So that's something that's definitely important to distinguish here with that, but it is coming. But the road ahead has a few nice things upcoming, which I'm all for. Just want to get that out there here before we jumped into everything else. But beyond that, let's talk about multiplayer right here, right now. On a global side of things here, just because it is the new season, we've talked about this kind of stuff before. We do have all our new seasonal content, your new battle pass here with 100 tiers in sectors to go through, the new event of the Path of the Ronin. 3 challenges go live today with 2 following each individual week. So that naturally unlocked crossbow will take you till at least week 2 to complete, with 7 total challenges being introduced. Again, 3 up front, 2 next week, and 2 the following week. We have new prestiges going up to level 450 here. We have new weapons, the ISO Hemlock, KV Broadside, Dual Kodachis, all 3 of those in the battle pass. We have additional maps, not going to say new because they're not, of Museum returning from the beta, and then also Dome being remastered here from the classic of Modern Warfare 3. Yes, we just recently saw it in Vanguard, but this version being taken from Al Mazrah and the Warzone map. On top of that, for Ground War, we have Al Malik International, as well as Zaya Observatory, where Dome also comes from. We have loads of weapon tuning, which is something we're going to actually go into in a separate dedicated video just for the interest of time, and also keeping that more centralized here. So check back in a few hours for that one. But let's talk about some fixes and changes here to the overall game, beyond just, again, that seasonal content that we've talked about for a couple of days to weeks now at this point. On the global side of things, before we get into multiplayer specific changes here with this, audio in the sense of proximity chat now fades out more effectively over a distance. There also is improved sound effects while reloading underwater. There's a bunch of other audio bug fixes. The one that stood out to me, though, was fixing several issues where specific materials were occluding incorrectly. That ties into what we'll talk about here with the audio changes for multiplayer in particular, but to see that now applied to other things across DMZ and Warzone 2.0, that is something that is definitely very important. We had a host of other social changes and bug fixes in that regard. You can see on screen right now some of the scroll through of that. The UI and user interface got adjusted in a couple of different ways, but again, one of the more important things is improved navigation and organization of the camo menus, including clear and tracking of your progress and better discoverabilities for camos that you've already unlocked. Another thing that I do additionally like is the reticle previews in the store and Gunsmith. That's something that is always nice to be able to preview that stuff without having to go into, say, the firing range. But again, if you're in the store, you can't do that because you didn't buy the item itself. So nice to see that introduced. We had a slight increase to the animation speed of, as they said in the patch notes, polyatomic camo, but there's no animation on polyatomic, so that's likely Orion. That's something that's definitely nice here. It gives a little bit more speed to that. Then on top of that, a whole host of different UI and global bug fixes. Multiplayer in particular, again, beyond the adding the modes of Infected, Gun, Game, Grind, and Hardcore, as well as those maps, we saw some additional changes to audio where they enhanced the occlusion on all core 6v6 multiplayer maps and improved dog tag pickup effects to be more discernible among other game sounds in Kill Confirmed and Grind. Perks ended up getting an adjustment here where we saw the reduction in the bonus perk earn rate by 50% and the ultimate perk by 25%, so allowing you to get those a little bit quicker here in regards to when you can earn those perks, hopefully allowing you to have all 4 of your perks much quicker in a match rather than where you'd be at beforehand. Now, of course, we did have ranked play introduced here, but again, there is a ton to go into here with this. If you guys want to see a dedicated video on ranked play, I can break that down for you and let you know everything you need to in regards to it, but essentially giving you a brief rundown here, we have different SR rankings for different divisions. Bronze, everybody starts in bronze. Silver is 900 SR, gold 2100 SR, platinum is 3600 SR, diamond is 5400 SR, crimson is 7500 SR, iridescent is 10,000 SR, and then top 250 in the world is above that 10,000 SR rating. Alongside your SR and your division, you have different ranks going all the way up to rank 50, with rewards along the way every 5 ranks you end up earning. Now, ranks are something that is totally disconnected from the SR and the sort of elo-based system here with this, where all you gotta do is earn stars, which is based on wins. So you could be a bronze player your entire ranked play career, but still end up getting to rank 50, or you could be an iridescent top 250 player and get to rank 50 as well. It really is just entirely separate and a more career rank alongside that. Now, beyond those bug fixes and changes and what we saw there, multiplayer aside, we can move on to Warzone 2.0, as well as then a little bit about DMZ. Now, outside of Ashika Island, that of course is the new resurgence mode here. That's the big content that's being marketed for the entire season. We've got to beat that to the ground here, so jump in, try that out for yourself, but we won't focus too much on that. Beyond that, I want to touch on some Al Mazrah changes and some more technical changes as well. Al Mazrah ended up seeing some updates to the map, so if you're not really into resurgence, you don't want to try out Ashika Island, you don't have to, and there's still a little bit here adjusted for Al Mazrah and the world that we have there. We saw the downplane, of course, at Satik Caves, that being an entire remake or sort of reintroduction of Afghan here in Al Mazrah. There's underground tunnels in Suburbs 14 now. There's a new passenger train moving counter-directional to the existing cargo train, so now there's going to be 2 trains that you can end up getting on in Al Mazrah. Hopefully having some high-level loot as well. That's the nice part about the train currently, is that there was a lot of high-level loot you could end up going and grabbing. They added a path through the cliffside north of Zarqwa Hydroelectric and added a vehicle ramp to the garage rooftop in Al Malik International Airport, so allowing you to do some sick jumps off of there. Now, the Gulag was updated to better suit 1v1 combat in Season 2. Again, we talked about this, how a new map for the Gulag is something they were working on, but because of maybe just the timing of everything here, I don't think that they really were ever looking to pivot off of 2v2, so they didn't really have it ready to go to make a 1v1 map here with it. So we are, for the time being, just having an altered variation of the existing Gulag to make it 1v1 combat. So just bear that in mind. Now, talking playlists, we do have solos, duos, trios, and quads. Ashika Island is only launching right now in quads. It seems like we'll have more adjustments to this here as time goes on, but for right now, it's quads with a max player count of 52. Now, beyond that, some of the gameplay, of course, works exactly how you remember it in Warzone 1, but some additional things to note is that strongholds are disabled, weapons found via ground loot always have attachments, blue resurgence supply boxes restock after 90 seconds, the restore honor tags and eliminations show red dots on the minimap, and enemy AI combatants only spawn during the data heist public event or during a search and seizure contract. So that's some important stuff to note. Beyond that, some general information about Warzone 2.0 with Season 2 is that private matches are going to be enabled for Battle Royale standard, solos, duos, trios, and quads on Al Mazrah. Not necessarily just yet on Ashika Island. The spectating feature for private matches will be enabled at a later date, but that's something you can jump into. It isn't detailed by the patch notes if there's any sort of like minimum requirement for player counts. I want to say like Warzone and Caldera and Verdansk was like 48 players or something like that for standard Battle Royale. It was lower a little bit for like mini Royale, but again, that was still like 18 to 20 players needed. Right now, there's nothing detailed. Fingers crossed you don't need anything, because I would love to just go in and kind of explore Ashika Island when that finally is added into private matches. But even Al Mazrah, there's a lot of stuff we could do for like Easter egg hunting and stuff in private matches. Would be really cool. Beyond that, we have some additional new features of the counter UAV being added into Ashika Island, as well as then Al Mazrah. We have redeploy packs, which is essentially your redeploy tokens that we saw within Warzone 1, but now coming back. This is a new tactical equipment rather than just like a token or an item that you pick up, but it's something that can be found in ground loot on some buy stations, but are guaranteed from completing strongholds and black site missions, so allowing you to get back into the fight here, which is definitely nice. We have that new restore honor feature at launch, and the new search and seizure, as well as data heist contracts and public events coming in season, redeploy drones coming in season, and the rusher AI is coming in season as well. Now, beyond that, we ended up seeing for some gameplay changes, the loot across Al Mazrah has been adjusted, where there's slight adjustments to the existing loot pool and the counter UAV is added into it. The cash economy was changed here fundamentally, where players will now drop more cash upon elimination, players will now retain more cash upon redeployment, and the overall balance to the change to the economy so that the players have more cash per match has been included with this update. There's a slight reduction to cash rewards for completing contracts, but cash can now be found on the ground via increased compensation for things like minimum increased to 500. Cash and registers has a minimum of 500. Basic supply boxes grant 500, and legendary supply boxes grant a basic 800 at the very minimum, which those two in particular is definitely nice because it was previously mentioned that cash would no longer be available via basic and legendary supply boxes, but that is something that's since been changed since that update was announced. Armor plates, all players now have 3 armor plate vests at all times, but will spawn in with different amounts of armor already equipped via infill, gulag, and resurgence redeployments. You'll end up coming back from the gulag with 3 plates, but the other times you'll come back or deploy with 2 plates first and foremost. Players are now able to customize their own perk packages, but disabling overclock and bird's eye as perks you cannot use. The buy stations ended up seeing locations adjusted. Spawn locations will be static across each map now, and loadout drop markers will now have an unlimited stock at buy stations, and the prices have been reduced and scaled differently. Solos is now 8,000, duos is 12,000, trios is 16,000, and quads is 20,000. So instead of having that additional 8,000 per every single player added, it's scaled differently where there's not a set number here with that, where it's 6,000 per player in duos, 5,300 per player in trios, and 5,000 per player in quads. Strongholds and black sites have been adjusted, where that's of course now the primary way to get a redeploy pack, but the AI combatant damages have been decreased. Assault rifle damage for those AI has been dropped down from 34 to 22, which is a massive change, and shotgun pellet damage has been dropped from 17 down to 15. AI combatants in strongholds or black sites now will evacuate the area during the final 3 circles, so you don't have to deal with them endgame. The Champion's Quest nuke contract has been adjusted, where some players, they state, may notice adjustments to the difficulty, and the weapon blueprint that we ended up seeing from Season 1, the F-Tac Recon Brass Tacks, that weapon blueprint has actually been vaulted. Everything else will stay the same in terms of rewards you can end up getting, but you will no longer be able to get that blueprint, and a new one has been added in to take the place of that. The backpacks and inventory system was adjusted, where loot will now drop out of the containers in the world, similar to supply boxes. Eliminated players will drop loot onto the ground rather than the loot-filled backpacks. Medium and large backpacks will now no longer be found in the environment, and every player will have the same small backpack throughout the entire game. So that means things like overstocking on kill streaks, on self-revives, stuff like that is going to be cut down by quite a bit. We also will see a loadout drop event, a second marker on that drop. That's something that happens now in the 1st and the 5th circles of each match, though they're not individual loadout drops still. That is something that they very well could be contested, so just be aware of that. Spawn protection was adjusted here for players that are 64 to 19 meters off the ground, where they'll have those sort of extra armor hits that it takes a lot more to kill if you're just unloading into them. And I'm pretty sure, I don't have the numbers on hand right away, but pretty sure that's a massive change here in terms of protection down closer to the ground. I don't remember it being as low as 19 meters, but could be wrong on that one. The gulag again now is 1v1. The jailer is now replaced with the flag control mechanic for overtime, and player loadouts will change depending on the circle. Assault rifles, submachine guns, LMGs as primary weapons, with secondaries being your handguns as well. Shotguns have been entirely removed, and cash will now spawn as ground loot in there, also to help for a little bit of a redeploy bonus if you end up winning. You'll also now be able to select and edit loadouts in the pre-match lobby once again, something that was available in Warzone 1. I want to say it was available at COD Next in the very first iterations of the pre-game for Warzone 2.0, but I could be wrong on that one. But that is something that is now going to be available. Of course, plating has something that the animation speed was increased by approximately 25%, speeding that up, and also movement speed has been increased while plating, and players, as detailed by this, can plate while sprinting. That was something that they didn't say was going to be the case, but now in the patch notes, it does say that they can. So seemingly going to be a nice adjustment here with that. Ping visibility has been improved. Interrogation mechanics have changed from an orange outline to a red marker to remain consistent with the other in-game mechanics. And we saw some loot improvements to the separation of the loot on steep inclines and tight areas. Definitely nice there as well. We saw the play again feature re-added and combat records finally added in-game. Beyond that, we have a ton of different bug fixes here that, again, on screen you could check out for yourself, but to save you the monotony of reading through every single one of them, that's what's on screen and what you can see here at this. DMZ, moving over to that, we saw the exclusion zone of Ashika Island added in here at this. New weapons cases, a new boss of the bomb maker, new rewards, new locked and dangerous spaces. That's all stuff that you can end up playing around with. Crown is a new faction mission set that you can end up playing with as well, but it's unfortunately only available to Modern Warfare 2 owners. Season 2's reset saw the faction mission progress reset from Season 2. Previously unlocked insured weapon slots will remain unlocked, but if you guys did not get in your insured slot of 2 or 3, you still have to work towards those. Key stashes and contraband inventories have been emptied. Of course, missions were adjusted in DMZ. That is the entire reason why we saw this refresh happen, to scale the overall difficulty as the missions go on and as you progress through the mission tiers. A few contract changes were made where the secure intel contract now no longer calls in reinforcements to the radio tower. The attack helicopter and cargo contracts will now react more quickly to the vehicle's movements while firing, and those missiles will now be more accurate to hit operator vehicles when moving slowly. HVT contracts will now drop more rare keys and will sometimes drop stronghold key cards as well. Overall, enemy tuning was adjusted where the lethality of AI across was adjusted via number of spawning AI as well as the accuracy of those AI at range. Infill, dead drop, exfil, and boss locations have all been updated on Al Mazrah. Those plating adjustments that we saw within Warzone 2.0 now also apply to DMZ as well. Same thing with ping visibility and the interrogation features. We saw also a host of other bug fixes there beyond, but that is the DMZ and Warzone 2.0 changes. Spec Ops, for those interested in that, we didn't get anything just yet. We will see a raid coming within Season 2 Reloaded, but we did see some adjustments here to different bug fixes and overall adjustments, again, on screen for you guys right now to save some time here on the monotony of all that. But that said, that is Season 2 in a nutshell and everything that we can expect to see here for right now and up ahead. So that is what we're going to call it. Again, we'll have the full weapon tuning guide here going up later on in the day. So stick around if you guys are interested in learning more about what weapons changed and what may be good, what may be bad, whatever the case. If you guys are interested though, make sure to stick around the channel. But for now, let me know your thoughts down below on Season 2. Are you guys liking what we have at our disposal right now? Or are you looking forward to anything else in particular in the future? Whatever the case, feel free to let me know. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and anything COD related. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Modest Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.